Hi friends. In the previous classes we have discussed about basic circuit parameters and basic circuit elements. In this class we are going to discuss about the connection of resistors and how such circuits are analyzed. Connection of resistors means in this particular class we are going to analyze the series connection of resistors and how the circuits in which the resistors are connected in series are analyzed, and we will study certain laws also associated with that. Okay, so first thing is that how will we identify whether a particular whether the given resistors are connected in series. So consider this circuit. In this circuit, because of the applied voltage, a current will flow through this circuit, as you all know. Okay. So when this current flow through the circuit, how will you identify in which manner these resistors are connected? If you see that, you can see that the same current I will flow through both the resistances, that is through R1 as well as R2, right? So that means the current I have only a single path to flow through it. Such a connection is called as a series connection. In other words, in a series connection, the same current flows through both the elements R1 and R2. The things will be clear. I will show you another example also, then things will become more clear to you. Okay. Now consider this circuit. In this circuit you can see that there is a voltage supply and there are three resistors R1, R2 and R3. So because of the applied voltage, a current will flow through this circuit. Let us name that current as I. So when the current reaches this node, it will divide into two, that is I1 as well as I2. The current I2 flows through both these resistors R2 and R3, whereas current I1 flows through the resistor R1. So we can see that the same current is flowing through the resistances R2 and R3, which means they are connected in series. But if you consider these two things, you cannot say that these are connected in series, because in this resistor R1 current I1 is flowing, whereas in R2 and R3 current I2 is flowing. So they cannot be considered as connected in series, but these resistances R2 and R3 can be connected in series. Now I hope that the concept is clear how resistances are connected in series. Now we will find the equivalent in order to solve this network. Solve this network means in most of the problems we will be given a network and we are asked to find out the current flowing through that particular circuit. So in order to find the current flowing through a circuit, we need to calculate the total resistance or the equivalent resistance. So we have already discussed in our previous class how to calculate the equivalent resistance when two resistors are connected in series, right? What will be the equivalent resistance in this case? R equivalent will be the individual sum of the individual resistances R1 and R2. Okay, if imagine there are n number of resistance, then R equivalent will be what? R equivalent will be R1 plus R2 plus what, up to Rn resistors. So if the value of the resistances are same, that is R1 is equal to R2 is equal to Rn is equal to R, then what will be the value of equivalent resistance? Then the equivalent resistance value will be N into R. I hope that this thing is very clear to you, because for example, imagine that you are having three 10 ohm resistors and these 10 ohm resistors are connected in series. Then to find the equivalent resistance, what you will do? 10 plus 10 plus 10, that is 30 ohm will be the equivalent resistance. Okay, so this can also be written as 3 into 10, right? That is total number of 10 ohm resistors into the value of the individual resistance. Similarly, n number of resistor into value of the individual resistance. So this is how we will find the equivalent resistance of a resistors connected in series. Now to find the current flowing through the circuit, we need to study a law, and it is called as the Kirchhoff's voltage law, commonly referred as KVL by all. So usually in textbook they won't write it in the detailed way like Kirchhoff's voltage law. They will simply write KVL. So first of all we will discuss what the law states, then we will do some problem also. Okay, KVL states that in any given closed circuit, the algebraic sum of the individual voltage drop is equal to the algebraic sum of the applied EMF. So in this case, consider this circuit. Okay, so we know that in this circuit we have an applied EMF. The algebraic sum of the applied EMF means in this case you have only one power supply. So the algebraic sum of the applied EMF means E. Now we are asked to find this algebraic sum of the applied EMF is equal to the algebraic sum of the individual voltage drop. So how we will calculate the voltage drop? Because of the current I flowing through it, there will be a potential drop like this, plus minus. So for you to easily do that, you can remember it like this, plus sign is near to the positive terminal. Okay, so this potential drop will be named as V1 and this potential drop will be named as V2. So the applied EMF, algebraic sum of the applied EMF is equal to the algebraic sum of the individual voltage drops in it, that is V1 plus V2. So now to find the value of the current, we need to find the value of V1 and V2. So how we can calculate the value of V1? V1 will be equal to the current I into R1, because if we apply Ohm's law to this particular element, we know that Ohm's law states that V is equal to I into R. So the current I flowing through this circuit will be current I will be flowing through this circuit, and the voltage drop across this particular element is V1 and the resistor value of resistance is R1. Therefore V1 is equal to I into R1, and similarly V2 is equal to I into R2. So if we substitute this in this equation, we will get I into R1 plus R2. And from this equation we can find the value of the current as I is equal to E by R1 plus R2. If you see that this R1 plus R2 is the equivalent resistance, right? So therefore this can also be written as E by R equivalent. This is how you will find the value of the current in any given circuit in which the resistors are given in a series connection. Resistors are connected in a series manner. Okay. Now we will discuss a problem, discuss a simple numerical, so that you will easily understand how the values can be calculated. Now you are given a circuit like this and you are asked to find the value of the current I. Then how you will find the value of the current? First thing you have to observe that how the resistors are connected in this particular circuit. So you can see that the resistors are connected in a series way, because the current same current I is flowing through the resistance R1, R2 and R3, which means that the same current is flowing through all the three resistors. Therefore equivalent resistance R equivalent will be what? R1 plus R2 plus R3. That is equal to 15 plus 25 plus 5, that is 45 ohm. So this is the value of the equivalent resistance. Now we got the value of the equivalent resistance. Now what we have to find? We have to find the current. So what will be the value of the current? I is equal to E by R1 plus R2 plus R3, as we had seen previously, or for if you want it in detail, we will say it like that. When we apply KVL, E is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, right? This will be V1, this will be V2, this will be V3. Voltage across resistor R1, voltage across resistor R2, voltage across resistor R3. You can see that I have put the positive sign near the positive terminal. Okay, in this case we by R1 plus R2 plus R3. Okay, then in this case we can write I into R1 plus I into R2 plus I into R3, that is equal to I into R1 plus R2 plus R3, and this can be written as I into R equivalent, right? So same thing, what is the value of E? 9 volt, and R equivalent is given by 45 volt, and this will be equal to 200 milliampere. So this is a very basic circuit, and I will assure you that this kind of basic circuits will not come for your exam. The reason why we are taking this basic circuit is that to understand the concept in a proper way, it is easier if you analyze a basic circuit. Once the concept is clear, we will solve the problems with a more complex circuit. Okay, problems will be usually asked in such a way that the circuit containing both series connection, parallel connection, something like that will be given, and you will be asked to find out the current. So we are trying to solve that problem, but to solve that problem we need to learn certain basic steps. So we are learning that basic steps one by one. Okay, so now suppose you are given two power supplies in the circuit diagram like this, and it is connected like this. How you will find the algebraic sum of the EMF? Let this one be E1 and this will be E2. So algebraic sum of the EMF will be E1 plus E2. This is a normal way of connecting. Now if we are given in a circuit, one is connected in an opposing way, then how you will find the algebraic sum of the EMF? Then it will be E1 minus E2. This concept should be very clear, because in advanced circuits they will be given more than one power supply. In such cases, if you are not thorough with the how the positive and negative signs are taken, means whether it is added or subtracted, if you are not clear with that, then you will not be able to solve the problem. So this is another important concept. Now we will study another important network, not a network, another important concept, voltage divider network, and we will learn what a voltage divider rule is, and then we will try to design a voltage divider network also. Okay. Let us discuss what a voltage divider means. Here you can see that the applied voltage E is divided across the two resistances R1 and R2. That is, it is divided between two resistances as V1 and V2. And this is how it is also called as a voltage divider network. Now we can use the voltage divider rule to calculate the value of the individual voltage drops V1 and V2. So we know that from this equation we can write the value of the current I as, you all know, I is equal to E by R1 plus R2. This is very clear to you because we have discussed it earlier. Now if you say that what will be the value of V1? V1 will be, of course you know that it is I into R1, and if you substitute the value of I here, this equation will become what? I is equal to E by R1 plus R2 into R1. And if you align it in a different way, in a suitable way, you can write it in this form also. It is very similar as E into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So you can say that the voltage drop across the resistor R1 is given by the applied voltage E into that particular ratio of that particular resistance divided by the to that of the total resistances R1 plus R2, right? Similarly, V2 can be written as E by we will start from the basic. V2 is equal to I into R2. So this will be I can be written as E by R1 plus R2 into R2. So if you align and write it in another way, we can say that E into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this rule you often uses when we solve the bigger networks. Sometimes we will make use of this particular rule. So this should be very clear. You should know how it is written. Okay. So voltage drop V2 across the resistor R2 is given by the main voltage or the applied voltage E into that particular ratio of that particular resistance to the total resistance. Total resistance is R1 plus R2. So this is how we write the voltage, calculate the value of individual voltage drops V1 and V2 using this particular rule. Now the thing is that this concept will be true if there is no load current. Suppose if there is a load current like this in the circuit, okay, if you are considering a load from the junction of the two resistors, imagine this is a load. Will the same concept can be applied here? No, because if you see it closely, if you see it, then you can say that the current, suppose this is current I1, this current I1 will at this point it will divide into two, that is I2 and another as a load current I0, okay, and I0. So this can be applied only if this particular value is neglected, right? Then this will be, if this portion is not there, then this is correct. But if we are considering a load also, then this cannot be applied directly. So what we will do is that we will assume that the current I2 is very much greater than I0, and usually it is assumed that it is in the ratio 100:1. That is, I2 is almost 100 times I0. So this is the basic assumption while we design a voltage divider network. So when we assume, when you assume like that, the I2 is very much greater than I0. So this can be ignored, and we can apply the basic rule for solving the network. Now we will simply design a voltage divider network so that whatever I have discussed here will be more clear to you. Okay. So we are given a voltage divider. Network like this, and we are asked to find the design a network. That is, design means you have to find the value of the resistances R1 and R2, and the condition they are given is that the output voltage will be 6 volt and the maximum load current will be 100 microampere. So with these values you have to design a circuit which gives a voltage V2 as 6 volt. Okay, so what you will do? We have already discussed that the first assumption we will make is that I2 is equal to 100 times I0. This is the only thing we know, right? I0 is given in the question. Therefore, 100 into 10 raised to minus 6, and that will be equal to 10 raised to minus 2, that is 10 milliampere. This can be written as 10 milliampere, right? Now we got the value of I2. Then the another information we have is that we know the value of V2. So if we know the value of the V2, then we can find out the value of R2. We know that V2 is equal to I2 into R2, right? From this we know that R2 is equal to V2 by I2. What is the value of V2? It is given in the question as 6 volt, and I2 we have calculated it as 10 milliampere. Therefore, this will come as 600 ohm, right? So from this we got the value of V2, right? Now we want the value of R1, but in order to find the value of R1, we need the value of V1, but we don't have the value of V1. Then how we will find? We know that E is equal to V1 plus V2. From this we can get the value of V1 as E minus V2. Apply KVL, then you will get, okay? So now in order to find the value of R1, we know the equation V1 is equal to what? I1 into R1. From this we can calculate the value of R1 is equal to V1 by I1. What is the value of V1? E minus V2 by I1. And this can be written as, what is the value of E? It is 16 volt. V2, as we know that it is 6 volt. Then I1 we can because we are considering this as negligibly small, both the current will be same. Therefore we can consider take it as a value of I2 also. Take it as I2 also. Therefore this will be like this. So you will get 10 divided by 10 milliampere, and what will be the value? 1 kilo ohm, right? If you solve this, you will get the value as 1 kilo ohm. So by this way you have designed the circuit. By calculating the values of R1 and R2, now we have completed the design of the voltage divider network. Now if you want to verify whatever we have designed is correct or not, what you have to do is put the value of R1 and R2, find the value of V2. If it comes to be correct, then you can say that your design is almost correct. Okay. So for the students who are doing some lab and all, the design will be asked, or for theory exams the design will be asked. But for competitive examination and all, the only thing you have to keep in mind is that the voltage divider rule, how you are finding the individual voltage drop. That is the only thing you have to keep in your mind. Okay. Now we will one more concept is there, power in a series circuit. So if you are asked to find out the power in a series circuit, then we can say that the total power in a series circuit is equal to the sum of the individual power P1 plus P2. Here you can write P1 as, do you know the equation? The power equation of the power will be VI, or it can be written as I squared R, or else it can be written as V squared by R. You can choose any of the equation. So we can write P1 is equal to I squared into R1, or it can be written as V1 squared by R1, whatever depending upon the value given in the problem. So P2 will be what? P2 will be I squared into R2, or V2 squared by R2. So total power can be written as PT is equal to I squared into R1 plus R2, and we know that this R1 plus R2 is equal to R equivalent, I squared into R equivalent. So this is how we calculate the power in a series circuit. So another equation for calculating the total power is relating voltage is E squared by R equivalent. This can also be used to calculate the total power in a series circuit. Now we will do a small problem so that this concept will be very clear to you. Okay. So now we are given a circuit like this. Applied voltage is 100 volt. The individual resistances are R1 is equal to 22 and R2 is equal to 28 ohm. So in this case, we are asked to find the total power of the circuit. Okay, so how you will find? You have only the value of the applied EMF, the individual resistance. First we have to find out the voltage drop. V1 will be given by the main voltage E into what is the that particular resistance, that is R1 divided by total resistance R1 plus R2. This is a voltage divider rule. So it will be 100 into 22 divided by 22 plus 28, that is 100 into 22 divided by 50, and that is equal to 44 volt. Similarly, V2, if you apply the voltage divider rule, main voltage into that particular resistance, that is 28 divided by total resistance, that is 50, and this will be equal to 56 volt, right? 56 volt. Now we will find the power. Power is, we know that P is equal to P1 plus P2. P1 is equal to V1 squared by R1. V1 we have already found out, 44 into 44 divided by value of R1 is 22 plus P2 and another P2 means V2 squared, that is 56 into 56 divided by the value of that particular resistance 28. So we will know that, we know that it is what, 88 plus 112, that is 200 watt. This is the total power of the circuit. This can be calculated also in this way, that is PT is equal to E squared, 100 into 100 divided by R equivalent, that is R equivalent will be 50. So that is equal to 200 volt. This is also another way to calculate the power in a series circuit. So now we have one more concept also, that is how the series, how an open circuit and short circuit will affect the series connection. Okay. So consider our basic circuit. From this circuit, we can write the value of I as I is equal to what, E by R1 plus R2, right? So if you consider an open circuit in this circuit, that is here, if you imagine there is an open circuit, then the current through the circuit will be 0 and the resistance will be maximum here. Okay, so if you replace the resistance with the value ROC, the circuit can be redrawn as like this. Okay, R1, R2, we will replace the open circuit with the resistance ROC. Now the value of the current will be E divided by R1 plus R2 plus ROC. Here if you consider that the value of the ROC will be extremely high, so that these values can be considered negligible. So if you compare the two equations, in this case the value of the resistance is small compared to the value of the resistance in this case. So the current will be more in this case and current will be less in this case. So when we evaluate that, which means that during an open circuit condition, very negligible current flows through the circuit, so that it will cause only negligible voltage drop in the other resistors, that is R1 and R2, because their resistances are also very small. So the entire voltage, applied voltage, will appear across this particular open circuit. So we can say that VOC is equal to applied voltage E, which means that the value of the resistance ROC will be very high. So entire applied voltage, because of that feeble current also, the entire voltage which we have applied will come across this particular open circuit. So in this particular connection, we have to remember two things. First one is that when an open circuit appear in a series circuit, then the current level will decrease. Next is that the open circuit voltage will be equal to the applied voltage. This concept is very important. That is, the open circuit voltage will be equal to the applied voltage. The entire whatever we have applied here will appear across the open circuit voltage, because here it is having a very high resistance value. Okay. Now next concept is that what will happen when a parallel connection, in a series connection, when a short circuit appears in a series connection. Consider the basic circuit. In this circuit, you can write the equation of the current as I is equal to E by R1 plus R2. Now, if I am short circuiting this resistor, this particular portion, that is, we are applying a short circuit here. Now, if the current I will flow through the resistance R1, so when it comes to this point, it will see two paths. So, but since this path is a low resistance path, the current will flow through this path only. So, in effect, this particular resistance has no effect in this particular circuit. So, this can be redrawn like this as there is no effect for the resistance R2 in this particular circuit when a short circuit is applied. So, the current equation will be E by R1. Now, you can see that here the value of the resistance is very high compared to this one. So, the value of the current will be lower in this case. But here, since the resistance is less, the value of the current will be more. So, you can conclude in this way, in a short circuit, when a short circuit appears, the level of the current will increase. So, this is how open circuit and short circuit will affect, this is how a short circuit and open circuit will affect the series connection. So, in this class, we have discussed about how resistances connected in series can be identified. Then, Kirchhoff's voltage law we have discussed, how to analyze a circuit in which resistances are connected in series. Then, we have discussed about how to design a voltage divider network. Then we have discussed how to use a voltage divider rule to calculate the individual voltage drop. Then we have discussed about how to calculate the total power in the circuit. Then finally we have discussed about how open circuit and short circuit will affect the series connected circuit. So, this is the conclusion of the topics we have discussed in this class. In the next class, we will be discussing how resistors are connected in parallel, and we will be discussing Kirchhoff's current law. Thank you.